Good morning. This is Florida Natural Farming at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, and I was going to go check on the anonas. We had a little rain last night. It's been so dry here, but yesterday I guess we had a little rain, about a ½ inch. So everything seems very happy today. It smells good out here. I was checking out my rare houseplants, anthuriums. This is a philodendron delsinkii. Has these weird 3-lobed leaves. This is philodendron atemoya. Got some new leaves. They look good. Lynamii is looking good. I really like the corrugated leaves, and I like the velvet leaves. This is Anthurium waterburyyanum. It's one of my favorites. These all seem to be producing leaves one after another. This is Anthurium metallicum. It's a new leaf right there. This is a new leaf. Anthurium longus similobum. This is a new leaf. This is our newest one, Anthurium lutherii. Looks like a new leaf coming up there. All growing outside in this porch, covered porch, shade room basically, attached to the house. Cement floor and screens, microplastic screens. It's a problem. The plastics are a problem. Pollution's a problem. People don't pay attention to it. We grow everything organically here. We're organic certified and real organic certified tropical fruit farm. And we grow everything in our biodynamic compost, which we make here on the farm. Look at that centipede right there. That's a nasty looking one. This is why you can't put this in your house. It's just, I would never use this inside my house with plants. So poor houseplant people have a real problem. We are growing these to plant outside. And even if you try to go organic indoors with your houseplants, the organic fertilizers are, made from sewage sludge, I think. Some of them are, well, with the word organic in their name, made by fertilizing companies. So really the only way to guarantee a healthy soil like this organically for inside your house probably would only be buying compost and whole ingredients as opposed to made up ingredients, a product that's not compost. So if you always buy composted potting soil, like the medical marijuana people use, the happy frog and stuff like that, I think you're okay. And then you could use dirt in your house, which I wouldn't do either, because it's just really dirty. So I just, I have them outside. That's where I like them. Thank God I'm in Florida. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. This is a new leaf on our Anthurium regali. It came with this yellow spot when I bought it, and that leaf and that leaf were both on it when I bought it. But this is a Anthurium regale verde. So it's more green, and there's the new leaf on it. Pretty. Yeah, unfortunately the organic has turned into the new chemical company. So you have to just really know what you're doing. And thankfully it's so easy. High quality compost. That's all you have to do. And then when you need to fertilize it, just top it off. Dilute a little organic whole milk into your water and give your plant your organic tea you're drinking. Stuff like that. That's all you have to do. It's whole, healthy ingredients. And that's what we follow here. We try to have a closed loop system. I do buy pine shavings for bedding for our cows because I like them to be really comfortable, and they're organic certifiable. So it's just like a compost pile when I clean the barn out with the shavings and a little hay, because I lock them in at night, so I give them a little hay so they have something to chew on. So I buy that hay, but it's organic approved hay. It's the cheapest hay they make, because if they sprayed it, then they'd have to charge more money. So it's a real problem. Everything's a real problem. But sticking to whole ingredients does look a lot more lush. Just in a little half-inch of rain, everything turned green. So unlike California here. It's like a complete opposite of what California is like. Flat and wet. So I make the compost over here under this giant live oak tree. I've been doing it under this tree for 5, almost 6 years. And it's very fertile ground under here. So I used to do the thermophilic compost. So this was the areas where I would like turn huge piles of compost. So I'd have like 2 going at a time. So one that was done and one that I'm making, but it would take up the entire space. And then you had to use a thermometer and all this stuff. And frankly, the compost is inferior to one that you just left and walked away from. And then came back to a year later. And now I just make small piles of compost, basically just a day's cleaning of the barn. So like a 50-pound pile, but this is 4 of them here side by side, and that's all it is. And I let the weeds grow in it, and then I dump bokashi compost that I make from our fruit trees, scraps, the fruit, and vegetables we eat, scraps, but mostly fruit. Seeds that I ate the fruit from. So I've been doing it here for a long time, and it works. I never run out of compost anymore. I just kind of use it for my pots. I can apply it in the fields, but I move the raw cow manure around. So this one is like not even close. This is this was the last giant pile of compost I made that I didn't turn. So this is like an almost 2-year-old compost pile. And that little area right there is all that's left of it. And It's like full of fire ants. It was. They finally moved out. That's how I knew it was finished. But this is it. You can still see the pine shavings in there. But there's sand in there because the ants moved it up in there. White sand. And fungi. And oak leaves and weeds. That's all held together by fungi. It's nice stuff. Everything grows in it. But you could do something comparable with store-bought compost, because if they're selling it in the stores, they've sterilized it, so it's not going to have a lot of life in it. There's too many things that people are afraid of. So they kill the life, but you still have the potting soil for the most part. You can get it back, just, handful of a little tiny bit of soil sprinkled over it from a really healthy tree, from around a really healthy tree that you know of, stuff like that. So like just sprinkling the got plenty of grass for the rabbits. Soil around it. Yeah, the organic. It's bizarre how they have become the chemical. I guess it's a difference between biological and or ecological. Is that what it is? Is that how I would describe it? I don't know. So some of you have wanted to come by, or said you have written me and wanting to come by, or posted that you've wanted to come by here, and I wish I could accommodate everyone, but to be honest with you, it really affects me, some people, and it's not always a good experience, but generally it is, but every now and then it's not, and so I try to limit it, and I kind of just want to that was the Rollinia, by the way, that still has not held any fruit, but that's amazing that it has all its leaves on during this drought. This is the first year it's ever done that. Because usually during long drought periods, it'll lose all its leaves. So there's hope for our Rollinia fruiting soon, I would think. So I like to show the place to people that are currently pursuing growing their own plants and are obsessed with plants. People that aren't really obsessed with plants can't really get it. Yeah, they get inspired by it, but I I don't know, if you don't really know what tropical fruit trees are, or philodendrons or anthuriums, then probably it's not time for you to come by here yet. And I don't like giving tours because I don't like talking to somebody in the front of our discussion and have somebody behind me laughing. It's it's disrupting to me. I'm not. I didn't work for Universal Studios Tour. I worked for the television part, so I'm just not used to giving tours like that. So the sugar apples are they got fruit on them. So they produce fruit without any water. And they smell really good, so I know that they're going to produce a lot more fruit. They're covered in flowers still, big healthy flowers. But I see a lot of fruit on these trees. But I hit it off with people that are concerned about Florida a lot, you know, concerned about the pollution and get it, and have more than a basic understanding of organic, and people that are 100% dedicated to eating organic. Otherwise, you're not ready for this. So that's the type of people I like to show. But people that are dedicated to growing and want to know, that's what I like. Most of the YouTube people that have commented, yes, they seem like they get it. But I can't let everyone come over here because I just can't. It would ruin it for me. It'd be like giving tours through your front yard all the time. Like, no, it's just not in me to do that. I like doing it, but I like talking and getting information from other growers for myself. What they grow, how long they've been collecting, stuff like that. So I get something out of it too. It's just not me like regurgitating information that I've already regurgitated 1,000 times in 100 different ways on these videos. Right? Some of these roses, look at how beautiful they are. So they're gonna look really good when these are growing all along the road here. Getting there. Oh yeah, I see fruit. Yeah, 35. That was like 55, I think. Throwing their cans out on the way by. Vero Beach problems. So there's fruit right there. I see fruit. I see fruit there. I guess the average fruit for sugar apples is 10 to 50 fruit at 5 years of age. I don't know why that's stuck in my craw. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I read somewhere. But we got that. We've been getting that for a couple years. They don't mention the size. There's fruit on there. So it really didn't need the rain to set fruit. Probably would have set more fruit if it had more rain. But they don't need any water. These are completely 100% dry farmed. And self-pollinated, of course. Growing next to this ginger. It's gonna be a good sugar apple year. Those look really good. I put 50 pounds of manure with each of these sugar apples. The first time I've ever done that. So I did it during the winter when there was no leaves on them. There's an Atemoya tree. It's finally looking good. I see some fruit set on it. Oh, Gefner Atemoya, I believe. So the fruit looked bigger this year so far. you know, it's the 50 pounds of bedding. So I just drop it next to the tree. Here's an Atemoya tree. And then you have to wait 4 months before you can harvest fruit and sell it as organic. Because they created all this hysteria over biology, but yet they can feed you cancer-causing chemicals and not even look at it to see what they're doing. But they'll tell you what the biology is going to hurt you. That's all the chemical companies that do that. It's total bull crap. It's like trying to distract people because they're not paying attention to what's really going on. But finally, we figured out why and how wrong the old conventional ways are. So there's really no excuse except for conventional farming dogma that they teach at the colleges. That's all it is. They need to dismantle these chemical companies, repair the earth. It's really need to start. The governments, that's what they're going to do. They're going to sue the chemical companies. They have to. The UN, I'm sure, is on board with that. So, I mean, that's who's destroying the earth. So why, if somebody was killing you, then wouldn't you stop them? Look at all these sugar apples on here. I love sugar apples. I like the really big ones. And I was talking smack about my sugar apple trees here because the fruit wasn't very big, but I failed to fertilize them correctly with whole, natural, organic compost. In not too huge of amount. We're still at 26 pounds per acre of nitrogen per year being applied. So it's still a minute amount compared to what everyone else is applying. I mean, in this is the diversifolia, the Ilama tree, compared to what everyone else has in their city lots with their septic tanks here in Florida. So 4 houses per acre. So they're polluting in their average household of 2.5, 80 pounds of nitrogen per acre. And then they're applying slow release organic fertilizers on top of it, on slow release fertilizers. They're all bad. They try to tell you it's the organic ones, but they're all bad. All those chemical fertilizers. You got to use compost, quality compost. They sell it. That Ilama tree still has not set fruit, and it looked like it was suffering from the drought on this side. It looked like it lost a bunch of leaves, because that's what stuff starts doing when it starts like succumbing to the environmental factors and it can't respond quickly enough. It starts dying off parts of it. So from the top down, or one branch, or a branch of leaves, but it's got lots of branches on it, so it looks okay. Sometimes the Ilamas, that's just what they do. I don't know if it's wind or sun. Boy, look at the Atemoyas on this. Oh, great. Finally, Atemoya is easily one of my favorite fruits. If I could have planted all these sugar apples with Atemoyas, if I could have found the trees, and I'd known that I could just grow them from seed now, I would have, done it from seed right from the start, but I didn't. So I bought nursery trees, wholesale. I paid wholesale price because we're a farm, so you get advantages. So, I mean, it was like, they weren't very expensive. I thought there was another llama out here that I keep missing, and I know we have several, so I do these videos and I always walk by it, and I need to remember it. Sugar apple trees, sugar apple trees, sugar apple trees. They got fruit on them. Some Atemoyas. They got fruit on them. Mangoes. Where is that llama tree? Over here. Is that an llama over there? Yeah. Let me look at these last sugar apples along here. They have never been as big as the other ones. For some reason, the soil was worse down here because, I don't know, it's super compacted here. This is a horrible soil area. But doesn't look like there's any fruit on these yet, but there sure is a lot of flowers, and they look, some of them, big, so there'll be fruit. I think the rains have started up. The mangoes are doing good. I swear there was a llama tree here. This looks like an Atemoya. The problem with having too many trees, it's not flowering. Probably wanted some water, I would guess. The soil is so mushy here. Okay, here's our custard apple. We have a few custard apples. I always forget about our trees. And then refine them. Anyway, that's that. I'm waiting for our jackfruits to start. This one should be at size to start fruiting, but they really wanted some water. Last year we had 2 fruiting jackfruits. This year, this one had fruit on it, and then it froze. It was the first year it fruited. It's a seedling jackfruit, and it got hit by the freeze pretty hard. For some reason, this particular tree always gets hit by the freeze. So every time for the last 2 years that we've had freeze, it always gets it. And I think one other time it didn't even get that cold in it. Like 40, and it died back, I believe. These Garcinia trees, they are truly amazing. They don't seem to mind the drought at all. They don't seem to mind the freeze that much. They do fine without ever being watered. Full sun, part sun. They like healthy soil, and they need compost. That's really the key to getting them to survive. When I first started doing this organic journey here in Florida with tropical fruit trees, they told me you can't use compost on mangoes. It's like, they've changed their tune, and let the organic people speak now, finally. Thanks to my channel about growing tropical fruit trees in Florida. This mango is one that froze back. I find that interesting that none of our mango trees have those beetles that I saw in other people's stuff. This black sapote was the only tree that seemed to be needing water, but it's got flowers on it and fruit, and it had never done that before. Well, one time last year it set one fruit, but it's already got more set than that. So it's always been in a, I guess this is was a compacted area. It seems fine now. So this is that mango froze. This tree suffered drought damage, and this mango froze. I have seen a lot of these little achachas coming up because I have achachas intercropped with all this stuff, but they're all from seed and they're tiny. This sapotea is getting big. That's freeze damage on the bottom for some reason. This mango, no freeze at all. Well, on one branch. I can't believe we still have black sapote fruit ripening. Ugh. Oh, ducks. These trees are all covered in flower and fruitlets. This guava never stops producing. Crop after crop after crop after crop. And bug-free guavas. And you don't have to water them. Didn't mind the drought at all, obviously, which it's got a lot of healthy stuff growing around it, which helps. But the healthy stuff grows where the soil's already good. So it's like, I mean, you can't really fix it right away unless you know that the soil is compacted to begin with. So quality compost. Anyway, it's the mango that froze. It doesn't have any beetles in it. We have fungi in our mangoes that break them down internally. That's where that big live oak tree was that was all hollow from the mowed lawns. It was one of those giant live oak trees. And that's kind of what's left of it. Can't really see it that good. Dragon fruit's growing all through the Caesar weed. Anyway, it's Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. Hope you have a beautiful day.